So for those of you that watch the channel and previous videos on there where I actually brought an RS200, you're probably wondering why I'm stood in front of a 197 now in Nimbus Grey. Well, the reality is I went to buy a roll cage for the RS200 and this was actually in the yard, and I asked the gentleman what it was doing there, and he actually said he was going to be braking it, and I couldn't understand why. So when I actually went over and looked at the car, it revealed that it actually had a 225 Megane turbo engine in the front, which made me even more intrigued. So I spoke to the guy. It's actually a guy called Ash who brakes Renaults, and I asked him why he was going to be braking this, and he simply said it was worth more in parts. So I thought it was criminal, and there's no way I could let that happen. So I agreed a deal with Ash to leave my RS200 and a bag of money to take this away. And my God, was it the best thing I did? Yes, it was. So I'm going to... So I'm going to give you a quick walk around on the car now and show you some of the features and the work that's been done to it, and then I'm going to take you out in the car. Fortunately, it's been raining a little bit, but I did do the recording of the driving before this, so you're actually going to see this in the dry, which is where this car excels. I have done a couple of track days in it. I've actually been to Donington twice with my dad, who part owns this with me, and the car is absolutely phenomenal. Right through the corners to the straights, this car performs in every aspect that you could imagine. The 280 brake that it produces is more than enough for this car, and the power to weight ratio is absolutely phenomenal. It's Michelin Pilot Sport tyres, which did run out of grip after about 4 or 5 hot laps. Both days we went to Donington, it was quite warm, so they did start to wash out on the corners. But by and large, the car was absolutely faultless. I'm going to give you a tour, show you around the car, show you some of the upgrades that we've done since owning it, and hopefully you'll like the video. We've got this AirTech intercooler, which actually helps with the cooling quite a lot. And personally, I have read a lot of people online have suffered with overheating on these. This one has been absolutely phenomenal. We have put the towing eye in, so just behind this clip here, there is the towing eye. I've wrapped it away because I didn't want it on show, but you can see in there we've actually bolted that in, and it works perfectly. That is a requirement for track days, unfortunately, so yeah, bear that in mind when you're buying one. These open front vents are absolutely brilliant for cooling as well, and we've also got the brake cooling through where the fog lights were as well, and this lovely Renault splitter, which is actually an original part. Just going around to the sides, it is a genuine F1 on the logbook, so it has these graphics, and on the roof you can see there, which I think look really good. It's got the spoiler on the back, which are quite sought after now, and it's got the 17-inch tire wheels with the Michelin, I think they are Pilot Sport 4s, yeah, and you can see from my previous track day we've still got a bit of pickup on there. Round the back it's got quite a quiet exhaust. It's nothing crazy, not like the RS200 that had the gravity exhaust, which was really obnoxious and loud. And then we'll take you to the inside and show you what it's about in there. So, excuse the beeping. Remove the key. So we'll start at the front. We've got the steering wheel, the Seatbelt Alcantara steering wheel is a little bit worn. I probably should have worn gloves when I was using that. I did keep my Sebring ProFit seats that I had in the previous RS200. They're bolted into a safety device roll cage, which you can see in the back there, which will go around. And then since then we've put these door cards in, the track day door cards, which are really, really good. Originally it had just the standard door cards in, but we wanted those off. So we've kept all the controls as well. We've got those. And then we've got the ZPO extended gear shifter. I'd probably like to put the full ZPO shifter system in, but they are really expensive and I'm not sure how easy they are to fit. Being an F1, it's got a few extras. It's got the air conditioning in here. Cruise control remains on these buttons and the horns, so we haven't lost any of the original features. The one thing that this car does have is this traction control, and when I test drove this car I thought there was something wrong with it because the power kept cutting out, but what it was actually slightly damp, and the car traction control was cutting in and actually killing the power to the engine. So this really does need turning off when you're on tracks, otherwise you end up feeling like the car's misfiring. So we'll take you around to the back. So in here we've done the Odyssey battery upgrade. When we had this, it was just a standard car battery in the back here, so we've now relocated that and put it in the proper holder. Made some massive difference. And then you can see here we've got the roll cage with the 4-point harnesses attached, and it's fully stripped out, as you can see. So just under the engine here, you might hear a bit of sizzling because I have taken the car out and it has started to rain here. So Megane 225 engine, uprated injectors, AirTech induction kit and blanking plate down the back there. You can see it's been fully polybushed on the engine and underneath, and then it's got the AirTech intercooler down at the bottom there. But by and large, that is the engine in itself. It has been to custom productions. They did the original install on this engine, and they recently did a refresh on it as well for the previous owner. So the engine is absolutely faultless now. It drives really, really well. The bags of power, and yeah, I'm really, really happy with the way it's turned out. Not much more really I can do to this now. It is literally going to probably go up for sale, and you know, get it ready for the next owner. So the first recording I tried didn't quite work as well as I thought it might have, and the bracket wobbling too much. So I've jumped in the car. I've cable tied up the camera mount. Let's see if we can make this one a bit better. So here we go. Let's go for a drive in the Meglio. The engine's still slightly warm from last time, so I'm going to go through the whole warming up of the car. So yeah, as I previously mentioned, to those of you that haven't watched the channel before, I had a Clio RS200. I then part exchanged it for this Meglio. I did buy my seats back from track, you know, you feel the car's planted, you feel those small vibrations through the car, you feel the curbs, and it just allows you to drive the car harder, because you almost feel the limit of the car a lot more. And certainly one thing I will say is, you know, I genuinely thought these Michelin pilots were a great tyre for the track. Actually, after pushing the car through its paces at Donington, they aren't that great. You know, they're good for road use, but when you start pushing the laps in around the tracks and you start putting heat cycles through them, you really feel that the weak part of the car is the tyre. And I didn't realise just how much a tyre choice could make a difference when you're on a track. So we did say that we would get some AR1s on this and take it back to Donington after we'd done a couple of laps with our friend who'd got a Megane 225, and that was on AR1s, and I have to say it was like night and day when it came to handling of the car. So it would be really interesting to see what this thing could do with a set of AR1s on it, in terms of grip and lap time, because I think it would make a huge difference, you know, when it came to the cornering speeds, having the confidence when you're pushing it into the corners. You really do get a sense of what grip means when you've got those sort of semi-slicks on the car. So yeah, overall, absolutely love the car. I can't fault the build of it. It's, you know, a really solid, reliable, capable build. And like I say, pound for pound, this car delivers smiles every time. There's never a dull time when I'm driving this car. It just really does deliver, you know, a good experience for the driver. So I'm going to take this back now, and then I'll give you a walk around on the car so you can get a sense of what it is from outside, show you some close-ups of the engine. Like I say, it has had the uprated injectors, it has had the K-Tech, the AirTech induction kit, it has had the AirTech front mount intercooler, it's got an exhaust system. So, you know, overall it hasn't had, you know, crazy money spent on it, and I know that to go any higher on the brake horse than where we are, you'd really need to start looking at forged engines, you know, uprated pistons, con rods, those kinds of things. But like I say, the power this thing delivers versus the weight of it, I wouldn't really want any more power from a, you know, I wouldn't get to use it. You know, the car really is capable on track and off track, and I think, you know, anyone who's looking to get into track days, the Clio 197 or the RS200 with the Megane 225 turbo conversion is definitely a solid bet, and one that I would certainly recommend to anybody looking to get into track days. Anyway. So apologies for cutting that filming of the car short. It has started to rain, so I've had to jump in the car to finish off the video. So as an overall roundup, yeah, I took the RS200 to Ash, swapped it for the new Clio, and I haven't been disappointed. It's absolutely fantastic. And like I say, we've done 2 track days in it. It's performed faultlessly. It's been built properly. There's no doubt about that. Custom Productions did a wonderful job on the engine conversion. Would I recommend an RS200 converted to a Megane 225 engine car, or a 197 converted? Absolutely. These cars are absolutely brilliant cars, and you know, they get a lot of stick because they're French. I get that, but pound for pound, you cannot beat the Renault Clios and Meganes. They are fantastic cars, and you know, I think they are going to be a car that's going to appreciate. There is no doubt about that. I think these cars are starting to plateau now. The prices seem to, you know, have stabilised around the £6,000 mark. Generally, they start to creep up after then. Like I say, this is an F1 edition, genuine F1. It was released in 2007. I believe that's when Renault Formula 1 did well. It was like a centenary car for them. So, you know, this one being the F1, obviously is going to have a bit more value in it, but it has been played with. It has had a different engine fitted. you know, they are all benefits in my opinion, but to collectors and people who, you know, really follow these cars, might not be so much. They might see what's been done to this as a, you know, a terrible thing, but I'm really happy with it. And like I say, the handling, performance, it just really gels well together. So watch this space. I may take the car to another track day, in which case I'll take you along with me. Hopefully you can see from some of the footage that I've shown you today, the car really is capable. I do wish I hadn't put these seats in, because I can't take this to the Nürburgring now because of these wings on the sides. But believe me, when you're on a track and you are throwing it into the corners, these really help when you've got your helmet on, just to keep your head straight. And yeah, there isn't much more I could do to this car to make it better. I think the power is perfect for the size of the car. I think the weight is perfect now. It's not, a lot of people ask me, is it noisy on the road? It's not, you know, although it's lost the roof lining and you know, the door cards and the carpets, it actually isn't as loud as you might think. There were a few rattles when I first got it, you know, bits of trim inside and clips that were just touching in the wrong places, so they've all been tidied up. Like I say, we relocated the battery to the back, put it in properly, and yeah, I think it's absolutely fantastic. You know, with where we are now, I think it's going to be hard to beat this car. I think if I do look at something else, I may go down the Porsche route. I've read a lot about the Boxsters, so it may be that we look at those next and see what we can do with those on the track. But you know, one thing I will say is this is going to be one of those cars I think I will regret selling, just because of how capable it is. And you know, I always judge a car on the smile it puts on your face when you're driving it. This is definitely one of those cars that puts a smile on your face. And you know, I think up until getting the RS200, I never even considered one of these. You know, it's a car that's very easily overlooked, and I think, you know, certainly if you're a driver, these cars are, you know, a driver's car. They handle well. Their performance, you know, out of the factory is really good. I was a bit dubious about the rev range on the RS200 previously, just because of how you rev them up, and you know, there was a shifter light on there that told you when to change gear. And you were sort of 7,000 revs, 8,000 revs in that, and which was, you know, really high for a car. It reminded me very much of the Civic Type R with the VTECs. You know, you really have to rev those engines to get them to perform. That's the beautiful thing with this. You don't actually have to take the revs that high to get the performance out of it. And it's not much heavier on the front end, I would say, than the RS200 that I had. It's just got that turbo with, you know, combined with the handling, I think is exceptional. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys. I really hope you like the content, and I'm sorry that it's taken so long to get a video out to you. Work commitments, you know, everything else that life throws at you gets in the way, and I just haven't had time to put a video together. So hopefully you can enjoy this one, and stay tuned. I might do a video on some of the purchases I've made recently, and show you where we've gone with those. But if you do like the channel and you want to see more content, you know, just seeing those little comments, positive comments, you know, they really help and sort of spur you on to do another video. So if you do like what you're seeing and you like the content, please just drop me a comment, and you know, it really helps. And if you can like and subscribe, even better so. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. See you soon.